or on the speakers itself. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. So sound quality is good, and we can see your presentation also, your slides also.
Yeah. I just stopped it. I thought it is only a test, mock test, no?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
They will put up something else. They will put your intro poster, and
Yeah.
they will talk about.
Okay.
Where are you right now? In Hyderabad?
I'm at home. I'm at home in Hyderabad.
So in a minute or so, we will start the presentation.
Yeah.
First, Alisha is the faculty who will introduce you, and then she will invite you to start your presentation.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, right. Umesh, are we ready to let students enter?
I will do that, ma'am. I will do that.
Okay. Start admitting students now.
चावल कुछ भी बनाओ, रोटी चावल सब्जी बनाओ.
Alisha, the bottom I can
Yes, ma'am.
see. Bottom I bottom. Are you also seeing on the poster 4 small screens?
Yes, 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 ma'am.
Can you remove it? Can you remove it? Yeah, we generally have 2 Samashram class where we have guests coming and speaking. So the next will be in the odd semester of next year.
Okay. Yeah.
So somewhere in the month of August, I will invite you on the same podium.
Yeah.
Alisha, we are
Yes.
ready to go, I think.
Yes. Okay, ma'am. We'll start. Alisha, just a minute. Just a minute. Rohan, we are still seeing the this thing on the screen.
Sir, it's not coming on our laptop. I have to see.
Okay.
Are we good to go, Mesa?
Yeah, we can start. We can start. Okay. Hello, everyone. Good morning and a very warm welcome to all of you to the second session of Samvad Shrinkala 7. While alluring the presentation on making right choices with our food by Dr. M.V Rama Chandrudu lingers our mind, we continue ahead with another journey today that will look at water positive habitat. I shall now introduce our speaker for the day. Our speaker for the day is Mr. M.V Rama Chandrudu. Mr. Rama Chandrudu has 32 years of experience in rural development and natural resource management programs, mainly with the NGOs in the field of rural habitat development, housing, drinking water, energy, and watershed programs, with a focus on training, documentation, field level support, and partnership with NGOs, policy, advocacy, fund management, and project management. He is a recipient of Safe Water Crusader Fellowship from INREM and Saki Waters under initiative. Network fluorosis, water quality is the issue March 2019. He has successfully anchored the Wash Coast India project 2008 to 12 at Wasan, where he was supported by IRC Netherlands. He has also undertaken several studies, assessment, evaluation projects of integrated watershed management projects in different parts of India like Jammu Kashmir, Jharkhand, Orissa, Chhattisgarh, Tripura, Manipur, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana states. So without further ado, I request Mr. M.V Rama Chandrudu to begin with his presentation. Over to you, sir.
Thanks very much, Akshada. I hope I'm audible to all of you.
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Yeah. Thanks for this opportunity to share with some of my ideas with all of you. I hope this session will be useful to you in terms of architecture as a career for built environment as well as integrating water concerns in it. I hope you are able to see the screen now.
Yes, sir. The presentation is visible.
Okay. Yeah. I thought I'll share some of my experiences and thoughts on creating water positive habitats, and the journey can start from individual homes to city. That's what I was broadly looking at. I mean, sharing my thoughts on this. This is organized in terms of sharing my experiences broadly, and it will conclude with some kind of opportunities and challenges for young professionals. And as I mentioned, I think Akshada briefly mentioned about my background. Thanks for the kind words. And also, I thought this presentation of you, what are the issues, and for a water professional, all of us are professionals, in different ways, in different themes on water related issues. What are all the opportunities and challenges? That's how I'm organizing my presentation. There may be little gaps in the way I organize it, but let us see how it comes. So I'm a civil engineer and environmental planner from Sept Ahmedabad, and I have 33 years experience. February, I completed one more year, so it is 33 years. And as she mentioned already, I have experience in variety of water-related themes, and largely in rural context. For last 3 years or 4 years, I'm also dabbling into urban context as a professional. And my in this presentation, I would be largely looking at my own experiences as an individual, not as a representative of an NGO or a development professional who has some 30 years of experience in that sense. But I would be largely focusing on my recent experiences as a person, as a citizen. So my experiments on water sector in my home, I think that would be largely taking my time in this presentation. I thought this kind of focus would be useful to architects. That's why I kind of modulated my presentation like that. And these experiences largely look at roof water harvesting, groundwater recharging, three-part filter for drinking water. I also use grey water treatment system and reuse it. I actually lead a chemical-free life where harmful chemicals are out of my life. And then I also have a biogas plant at home, which runs on domestic waste, kitchen waste. And I also have a solar system, which is on-grid system. So these are all some of my experiences. I thought and there are few others. I think in August, my son Bharani will be sharing, because those experiences are part of his domain. I helped in establishing some of them, but he is the main person doing that. So as I mentioned, my work with the development organizations in Gujarat and Hyderabad, Andhra, Telangana largely covered rural habitat related issues, provision of drinking water, water for irrigation, water conservation, through variety of interventions like farm ponds, tanks, recharge trenches, burns, tanks, and things like that. All of them conserve rainwater and help the farmers to irrigate their crops during dry seasons. Similarly, we also promoted water use efficiency systems, soil fertility improvement systems, and shared water infrastructure at the village level. Borewells, individual borewells, farmers share with each other, so that every farmer gets water. That kind of models we established. And we have created cadres of local experts, young boys and girls, in villages, who are 10th pass or 12th pass or graduate, even sometimes 7th class passed out young farmers. We trained them to become water experts in water management at local level, collecting data on water issues, either rainfall or groundwater tables, and help in conducting water audits for the farmers, and then help in water related decision making at the local at Gram Panchayat level. So these were the kind of experiences that we have done. Currently, we are also associated with demanding water, reducing water demand for crops. Certain crops like paddy, wheat, they consume a lot of water. Instead of those crops, we can promote alternative crops like millets, pulses, which take less water. So we have a huge agenda. We have a huge partnership on promotion of millets, which consume less water. And similarly, we also promoted construction and safe drinking water systems under behavioral change related issues on water sanitation and hygiene related practices. So under this process, perhaps I'm associated or I'm instrumental in reaching out to almost 1 lakh families in different parts of the country, and I have a big team working with me. Currently, I'm associated with several organizations, including Vasan, which is my main organization. I was heading this organization for some time, 12 years. For last 3 years, I'm not heading that. I stepped down and I'm engaging with several organizations in different capacities. So this is the typical.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there is this tag coming at the bottom. It says Teams is sharing your slide. Can you just hide it, sir? Because we are not able to see that part of the slide.
Okay. Okay. I see. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Can you see it now?
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. 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 Okay. I thought it is only visible on my screen. Okay. Yeah. So basically, it's like a typical village scenario. You can see that, there will be some kind of landscape, hilly terrain, and then variety of, water bodies and agriculture lands, forest lands, wastelands, and things like that, where, human settlement, small villages are all located with road network and transport facilities and things like that. So from topology point of view, you can see these are the streams through which water flows, and then these we try to organize farmers, across these drainage lines. They are called streams and drainage lines, and these farmers, they plan area that belongs to them, and then conserve water, soil, and forest and agriculture related activities they take up in this patch of land. These are all formed into some kind of cooperative at the village level and at the block level, and then they are engaged in water related and agriculture related processes on a continuous manner. That's what we have been doing. In a nutshell, this is the kind of, these farmers conserve water, rainwater, in the form of farm ponds or check dams or recharge pits or big tanks, depending on the location. And then they also improve soils. They also take up less water consuming crops like millets. They grow trees, and they have livestock related programs and things like that. So these are all integrated in the framework of watershed development programs, and this is what Vasan has been doing for a long period. And this is my while working on water issues for so many years. I also constructed my own home in Hyderabad, which is an independent residence, about 15 years or so. So 15 years back, at the time I was constantly, challenging myself, because I'm associated with water sector for a long period. What are my rights and what are my responsibilities? Because I conduct several training programs, engage with rural communities, farmers, men and women. Generally, I used to preach a lot that you should conserve water, be efficient, and things like that. But at personal level, I always had this dilemma. But what is that I am doing? As a citizen of the country, I'm teaching people. So it would be an interesting idea for all of you how homes can be. Generally, we all know that built environment will actually influence our behaviors. So on water related issues, how can a habitat, how can a built environment, a school or a room or a building or an institution or a street, how can they be water influencing water related behavior? I thought I did some experiments and I learned something. I thought I'll be sharing those things with you. While I was constructing my home, before that, because of my exposure to water sector, I was asking some questions myself. what's happening to water in my home when I construct home, wherever I'm living, either rented house or apartment. I was generally trying to understand where the water comes, where it goes, what is that I'm using in between. So this is a very simple knowledge, simple understanding, but what is that we can actually do with this process? So the sources are, groundwater, borewell, rainwater, municipality tap connection. These are the kind of things. Maybe now we should add RO water bottles, bubbles and things like that. That's also one of the sources in most of the habitations. We use water for drinking, cooking, bathing, cleaning, washing, gardening. All these things look very simple and very commonsensical. After using this water, where will it go? From our bathing places, washing places, kitchens. A lot of wastewater is generated because we use the water along with soaps, along with detergents, along with dishwashing products, and all of them are chemically, they are basically harmful chemicals. And then fresh water is converted into gray water by the use of all these chemical products, and we are generating gray water. So even similarly, all of us, all human beings, any living being will will produce excreta by the end of the day, because when something is going into the system, it will come out also. So the human excreta flushed out of our homes is going to drainage pipelines and sewer systems, and rainwater is generally flooding and going out onto the streets, ultimately go to the streets. So this is my analysis. So the way I clean up my home, my body, my clothes, my dishes, my floor, all of them are completely, I'm using several products like soap, shampoo, bathroom cleaner, dishwasher. If you Google internet, you will know, all of them are completely, full of harmful chemicals. Our skin is kind of habituated to all these kinds of products, our clothes, our floor, our dishes, all of them are somehow habituated to this kind of harmful chemicals. They are called seven sisters, seven sins, parabens, triclosan, ammonia, phosphate, EDTA, all these things, chlorine. They are not good for our body and water bodies ultimately. So I'm using water sometimes more than necessary for a given purpose. If I need 1 liter, maybe I'm using 3 liters. That's what one of my realizations. I'm also using fresh water where I really don't have to use fresh water for certain purposes. For example, gardening, washing clothes, flushing. I don't really need fresh water. I can use actually used water. Similarly, I'm also throwing chemically contaminated water into drainage, ultimately groundwater, streams, water bodies, oceans. That is what I'm contributing. So as a citizen, as a person, I realize that I'm very responsible from water point of view, from water related actions. I think this is the most common thing. Most of us are like this. So I thought I should be, correcting myself. So as a person, as a citizen, I started putting my own efforts with my family. I started with my own home. Though as a professional, I was teaching a lot of farmers, lot of others, NGO friends, government on water-related action, rural context. But in urban context, as a citizen, I thought I should do something, more responsible. I should be more responsible and do something creative. So I am kind of exposed to engineering, architecture, traditional and modern knowledge, and variety of good practitioners across the country. I had an opportunity to interact with them, learn from them. So all this exposure actually helped me to, put certain practices in my home and build my home accordingly. So the non-negotiable conditions that I put for my home is I should conserve all water, starting with rainwater. So I harvest entire roof water, and my roof is my catchment, and I use very simple sand filters to, eliminate any unwanted material and use it for store it for variety of uses. Similarly, my home I constructed with completely recycled wood, accumulated from variety of dilapidated and demolished homes. I collected, so many windows, doors, wooden planks, antique pieces, and then used for my own home. Similarly, I constructed my slab is filler slab. I used brick jolly, plenty of natural light. As part of design, I use solar energy. I also used gray water treatment system. I'll show you some pictures about it. I collect all my used water from my bathroom, washing space and kitchen, and then treat it with some preliminary sedimentation tank and reed bed, and I use this for water for my gardening, and I get some good fruits also out of it. And I directly use some part of the water to soak pits to recharge groundwater. And I use chemical free products for maintaining water quality. I'm actually become now I'm an entrepreneur of natural cleaners. I am producing them with bioenzymes. I produce natural shampoos and dishwashers and detergents. I don't buy soaps. I don't buy Vim, or I don't buy Surf, or Ariel, those kinds of chemical cleaners. I completely use natural cleaners for my home. I thought I'll just show you because you are all architecture students. I some of the pictures I just took from my home. How I collected old doors and windows and restored them for my home. My entire home, all wooden furniture is restored wood furniture. Only for few places I used fresh wood, plywood, but rest of the uh, wood is completely used wood. My furniture is also made out of used wood. This is the main door. We call it Simhadwaram. So like this, and then this is the place where I'm sitting. Actually, the chair which is there on which I'm sitting now and talking. This is my workstation. You can see I'm inspired by Laurie Baker a lot. So I wanted to have a brick jolly, and I put a small brick jolly next to my workstation. And all those orange, they are all restored, wooden pieces. And this is my workstation. This table is also made out of wooden planks, beautifully carved wooden planks I restored from dismantled houses. These are windows I collected again. This is my seating area. There is a bay window, and these sofas are also second-hand sofas. They are not first-hand sofa. Similarly, I thought my pickles and my jars are beautiful. All ceramic. So they become part of my decor at home. I used old wooden panels, and then I put them in a very prominent place at home. You can't miss them when you come to my home. So generally these pickle jars are somewhere hidden, in the interior part of kitchen somewhere. But I thought they are beautiful, and then they are part of my diet. And I love a lot of pickles. I make some pickles and jams also. So I thought I should display them. So this is how I made it. This is my dining table. These are also restored wooden pieces, and you can see all posts and all wooden plank. Each plank is different, and each piece is unique in its own way. And you can also see three-pot filter for one of the corners. I use sand filters, three pots. The top two parts are filled with sand, gravel, and biochar. I make biochar also. And then I use the rainwater and groundwater, municipal water, uh, and I filter in this three-pot filter, and then you drink it. So I don't buy RO water, and I'm using this three-pot filter for almost 20 years now. And again, these are wooden birwas cupboards. I collected them from second hand and third hand, stores from kachra shops and all, and then I restored them with the help of carpenters. And I collected tiles from Jaipur and other places, and put them there. This is one of my hobbies is to restore old furniture. Similarly, this is my stitching station. One of my hobbies is to use repurpose old cloths. I stitch lot of bags with my old cloth. This is my sitting station. That particular box we call it Bhoshanam. That is also a recycled one, made out of block printing blocks, wooden. If you are aware, certain cloths are made out of block printing process, and then these blocks will be worn out, they will be damaged after some time, and this box is made out of such used block printing blocks. So these are again two windows, vertical windows, one above the other. I needed this kind of arrangement. You can see this, door cupboard. Only limited number of doors are fresh doors, plywood. I thought I should also show that plywood which is purchased from a shop, but rest of them are procured and restored. Now I come to grey water treatment. I think the focus of our uh, uh, just a minute. I thought I'll share all these pictures with you because there is a lot of waste, wooden waste and iron waste, which can be repurposed to make good furniture and part of home designs. Actually, currently we see a lot of architects using very expensive first-hand material and contributing to great unnecessary expenditure and unnecessary what you call inventory of such program of material, whereas so much of beautiful material, used material is already available. At least part of the homes could be could have used material, so that we are making our homes really carbon positive and water positive ultimately. So that is the purpose of showing these pictures. So now I thought I'll talk about grey water treatment. When we design services at home, generally all wastewater is taken through one pipe, drain pipe, and there is only one manhole. But you can see two different pipes here, the small one and big one. The big one is basically connected to toilets, which carries human excreta, and this is discharged into mainstream drainage systems of the city. In fact, I wanted to have a small biogas plant using human excreta, but I have some limitations. I could not do it because number of members in my family is only three, four, and we keep on traveling. So the availability of human excreta is not so very regular because we don't regularly stay at home. And second point is human excreta based biogas plants are very expensive when I constructed my home. So I could not put it, but I kind of separated these human excreta pipe vessel and grey water, which I explained earlier. The small pipe which you see is basically carrying water from bathrooms, wash basins, washing machine, and kitchen area. This is used water, and this has a separate manhole, and this entire grey water is collected into these two collection chambers, and then these are three sedimentation tanks about 2.5 feet diameter and 6 feet depth. Three wells are there in a row, and water flows from one to another. And then at the end of these three settling chambers, I have a reed bed, artificially reed bed is put there. In this, I kept water loving plants, and the roots and the soil, sand, gravel, and also biochar in this reed bed will actually treat the water which comes from these settling chambers. And then the plants will consume water, and in that process they will also treat water. So after this, I'll get treated water which can be used for further gardening. So this the treated water is collected in this small tank, and then I put this water to other plants through hose pipes, and I have reasonably good garden. And now actually I have very big mango tree, sapota tree, and jackfruit and mango banana trees. All small plants, they could not survive under the shadow of these big trees. But these trees consume all the used water, and then I don't water them separately. I have a system where water naturally reaches without any human intervention. It's a simple design. I put some hose pipes, and they supply water to all these plants. So I thought, about leaving human excreta related water remaining 80% of the water is actually treated and used in my home, and I actually benefit from reusing water. This is roof water. When rain falls on my roof, it is accumulated, and this water I collect through, pipes like this. And then I actually uh, have a sand filter again, and water is filtered and collected in these three chambers. These are small wells, and actually I wanted to make below ground level because I have hard rock. I could not keep these sumps below ground level, so I had to elevate them above ground level. So these three tanks will harvest about 30,000 liters of water, and I actually combine my municipal water also in this drinking water. So this is a common sump for both rainwater as well as municipal water. We use this water for drinking, and excess water from this is directly it goes to recharging my borewell. So all the roof water, I would get around 1.5 lakh liters of water, or I think 2 lakh liters of water. I'm only harvesting 30,000 liters. Remaining entire roof water goes to my borewell through this process. As I mentioned earlier, already, I'm using three pots filter. These pots will have, sand, gravel, and then biochar, and then they filter water. I put water on the top pot, and there are holes at the bottom of these two pots, and then water trickles down drop by drop and then reach this bottom pot. I collect it and drink it. So this process is considered to be fit for removing turbidity, color, odor, and also pathogens. It cannot remove TDS, total dissolved solids, or chemical impurities. Because I get roof water, and I also use this for municipal water, which is which is free from chemical contaminants. So sand filter is ideal for that. So these are the kind of issues. As a citizen, I thought, what could be done. Maybe I kind of jumped here. Yeah. I'm just going to next topic of my personal experience. Even if we have all these facilities, the water that we produce from home, the gray water, it's not really safe. So how can we make our wastewater, safe for safe disposal? So some of the questions I was asking, how can we make you know our home first water positive, and can we just a minute, yeah. So I make chemical free, toxic chemical free products using flowers, vegetables, leaves, and also fruits, and then I convert them into bioenzymes, and after bioenzymes I make them into a shampoo or dishwasher or hand washer for cleaning dishes, our body, hair, and everything. So I'm using this for last almost 4 years now. Uh, I'm actually selling them in Hyderabad. Then the product name is Charukesi. That means Charukesi means the person who has nice hair, good hair. So this is also a raga in Carnatic classical music. So Charkesi, you can really become Charkesi if you use natural cleaners made out of bioenzymes, which I am doing. I thought this is a market driven cleaning behavior. I'll just come to that. So another point, of course, I also segregate waste at home, plastic and other things, because I have a biogas at home. All my wet waste goes there, but all my dry waste, I convert them into eco bricks. I'm sure you are aware of this eco bricks. I would have made about 400 600 bricks in last couple of years, and actually constructed a small room on the top of my terrace using these eco bricks, as well as glass bottle uh, embedded into bricks. This Bharani did this whole thing. I hope he would be able to explain it in presentation. So these are all about my various experiences, experiments on minimizing waste, making waste environment friendly, and then reusing water, conserving water. My home is water positive because I conserve water, I reuse water, I minimize waste. I actually use waste to gas and solar energy, all of them. It's a package of practices that make my home and myself a water positive citizen, contributing to the city's water positive quotient, basically. So I thought, as an individual, this is possible. As a citizen, this is possible. And you know can we move from home to habitat, in a city context, or even in a colony, or in our own neighborhood? So I started working with a team called the Rainwater Project Team. This is a social enterprise. Maybe you are aware of this already. Recently, this team restored one step well called Bansilal Step Well in Hyderabad. I'm part of the team there. Similarly, we developed detailed project reports for 5 municipal parks, where existing water resources are analyzed, and assets are analyzed, and then we proposed how these parks can be center of water conservation efforts, and then they make entire neighborhood water positive by conserving water. Similarly, we are offering variety of water related services to real estate companies, architects, and builders. I guess Bharani, my son, who is also a civil engineer, would be explaining this part subsequently when there is an opportunity. One of the questions I'm dealing is, can markets promote water-friendly lifestyle? See, so far we are using, Lux or Rin or Vim, all those products we are buying from market, and we are influenced by them. Chaka Chek Safedi, something like that. There are a lot of phrases they put in our mind that, if we use this product, our home is clean, our clothes are bright, and our skin is good, and things like that. But they are all actually lies. We are trapped in this market. I was trying to figure out whether the same market can promote water friendly lifestyle, because awareness, education, government projects, all of them will travel to some extent. But after that, we are all consumers, we consume all these products. So I started organizing marketing and sales events for urban citizens broadly, on water friendly products. We call it Santatabba Sarpula Santa. This is a Telugu name. If anyone of you know it, it is rather funny name. It is self dabba, you are beating your own trumpet. So I thought I should be beating my own trumpet on water friendly products, water friendly lifestyle, because this is what citizens have to do. They have to be sensible about water use, and be positive about water related behavior. So while I was talking to many people on these issues for last 3-4 years, it becomes like, I'm telling a lot about myself. Sometimes I used to feel little uncomfortable talking about myself so much, but then I realized it is necessary that people should know that somebody is talking out of practice, and somebody is actually challenging others from on the grounds of one's own experience. It is not like I'm preaching. So I'm actually preaching based out of my practice. So I stopped feeling hesitant. I mean, I'm no more hesitant to talk about all these things. I feel rather proud about talking about all these things. So that's why, this beating your own trumpet, broadly, the equivalent English translation, I don't really feel bad about it. Rather, I feel happy about it. And this is what currently I'm doing in it, because there is a long way for citizens and cities to move towards this kind of water positive behavior. And I think I'm moving on a very slow pace in terms of behavior change, and water, creating water positive habitat, because many homes, many builders, many potential home owners or institution builders, they are not really sensitive about water related issues. They may want to put marble stone, they may want to put beautiful, you know artificial ceiling, they want to put beautiful, artificial lighting and things like that. But and they actually, put beautiful tiles in the bathrooms. All the, fittings in the bathroom these days, they cost, a few lakhs of rupees. But and these are all aided by architects, and then architects are challenging themselves, to get such products from Italy, America, I don't know, wherever the latest thing is available, they bring to Indian customers, who are really about, showcasing their, bathrooms and their kitchens with all this stuff. But I'm sure, and I'm rather worried that, most of this expenditure is considered as necessary and non-negotiable. But when it comes to using, uh, uh, what do you call, water conservation, putting water conservation systems, putting water reuse, gray water use systems and all, it becomes, negotiable agenda. It may cost hardly, 1 lakh rupees, maximum 2 lakh rupees, depending on where you are and how big it is. It can be done even with 50,000 rupees, 30,000 rupees. That kind of small amounts also make one home water positive. But builders, architects, civil engineers, all of them think that it is a negotiable thing. They think, oh, it's very expensive. How can we put a grey water system? You know, and there are no qualms about putting Italian marble on the kitchen, or black granite on the on the floors and things like that. So a fraction of that expense can be really diverted towards water related infrastructure at home, and make water, a home, a habitat water positive. I think the sensitivity is really absent. So I'm sometimes feeling very, very tired of talking to people who are not really sensitive about this. But I think that's the job. I cannot afford to be pessimistic. That's why actually I'm talking to you. I thought, as young architects or architectural professionals, how are you able to internalize this concern and then sensitize your clients? Because in future you are going to do a lot of work, create beautiful built environment, as a water, as an architect, as a professional for built environment. Be sensitive about water issues, and then integrate these concerns in your own designs. It is not impossible. It is definitely, possible. You should be able to do it. So but as a normal citizen, as anyone on the street, they can also, actually they should also be, worried about water. Now, what can be done as a citizen? I think everyone can actually monitor, how much water are they using, you know how many buckets of water are they using for bathing, how many buckets of water are they using for washing clothes. In fact, I stopped using automatic washing machine, because you cannot control it and it takes a lot of water. I switched over to normal, manually operated washing machine. I use the same water after wash. I use the same water for 3 cycles, because for washing clothes you don't need fresh water. If you use automatic washing machine, it will take so much of water, and for every round it takes three, 4 rounds of fresh water, which is not necessary for that purpose. It may be very convenient to use it, but I think we don't have to waste so much of fresh water in the name of convenience. I have thousand things to do. My time is precious, but I think I still prioritize using the same water, spending time for operating my manual washing machine. So for many people this is very difficult. They say that if I put on the switch, my clothes should come out of it, dried clothes. And how much water I use, I really don't care. So that attitude we should change. India is a tropical country. We really don't need dryers for drying our clothes. They may take 1 more hour to get dried. Why should we use electricity? Why should we use so much of energy for drying clothes in a tropical country? Yeah. Yeah. So I think some of these kinds of lifestyle changes will be very, very useful, including making some investments. If you own a home, or if you're part of a housing colony, if you're part of an apartment, sensitize yourself, sensitize your neighbors, your colony organizing committee to harvest roof water and then recharge groundwater, separate grey water and black water, and use grey water in your own premises. All these things are possible. You don't have to use harsh chemicals. You can go towards naturally cleaning material, and you can move towards the chemical free life. And this will be very, very essential, and motivate your friends, others, bring your professional expertise. So I think this is what I would like to conclude here. uh, Once you are able to do your own duties, then you are entitled for your rights and entitlements. Then you can ask for safe water for all, water forever, and for all needs. I think first is responsibility as a citizen, as a professional, as an young architect, or as a seasoned architect. Can you challenge the builders, contractors, clients to take water agenda very seriously and put some money? They can live without marble flooring, but they should not live without conserving water. Can we bring this kind of sensitivity in their own mind? That's what I think is responsible behavior as a young professional or a seasoned professional on water issues as an architect. And then we can challenge the government, if they are doing anything wrong, or anyone, if anyone is doing wrong. So this is what I thought I'll broadly share with you. And this is what I have to uh, yeah, yeah, can you see me now? Yeah. So
Yes.
I conclude here, and then if there are any questions, you can.
So thank you, sir, for such a wonderful session. And I'm sure our participants also have got a very enlightening worldview of on what the concept of water positive habitat is. Can we move from home to habitat? Quoting you, sir, one of the most relevant questions to be asked in today's times. Sustainability is a word that we so commonly use nowadays, but your presentation, sir, is a wonderful demonstration of how sustainability can become a lifestyle. The challenges are huge and the competitions are high. We know that, sir. You also quoted it very well. But to be able to live a water positive, a water friendly lifestyle is one of the most required actions to be taken today. Thank you once again, sir, for your expertise. And we feel really very fortunate to have had the opportunity to learn from you. Your contribution has left a lasting impression on us, and I'm sure on everyone who attended. Thank you for the wonderful journey that you took us through. I'm sure the participants will have many more questions and observations. So we can now begin with the question and answer round, sir.
Yeah.
So the first year student Isha, she asks a question: is the process of water filtration scalable? If yes, can you elaborate?
Yeah, it's a very simple technology. It just requires a chamber. It could be a drum. It could be a small, circular or rectangle tank that you can construct with bricks or anything, and put layers of sand, gravel, and charcoal and water. Water sand filters are very easy to make, and it's very simple to do actually. It's not at all a complex thing. It's much simpler than many other things. Only point is, see, I tell you, the replication becomes easy when it is a product. For example, if you get a box like thing, then it is easy to sell and people will easily buy it. But if you tell them how to make it, it's a process. So process driven replication is long. It takes longer time. A product driven replication is easy to do. You can sell a product, but a process needs to be observed. But if you have professionals who are good at construction of sand filters, who have the knowledge of sand filters, then it is very easy to do. I think that kind of professionals are required for scaling up. It's a very simple science, very simple technology.
Okay. Thank you, sir. We have the second question from Jaidat, who's our fourth year student. He asks, How can we devise policies as a nation where consumers are more environmentally and water friendly and organic, since these products come at a price compared to other brands?
See, market is an open place, right? Everyone can sell their products. We cannot really restrict it unless they are very harmful. For example, you cannot sell guns, right? They are not very, what do you call, uh, uh, I mean, some products are always restricted for the health of the society. But, these products, the chemical products, which I think the student is mentioning, they are projected as, okay products for you. Actually, they are projected as very good products for your skin and all. So it is very difficult to, counter their arguments and things like that, because they offer a lot of convenience. They offer a lot of easy way of, living life. That is the advantage. But I think we need to figure out how we actually lead our life more than government policy. I think it has to be individual policy. What is your policy as an individual? Do you want to consume? Do you want the government to tell you, rather than do you want to tell yourself about water? So that's what is necessary. For everything depending on government doesn't really, I think it's not a really good strategy. While we can depend on government for certain aspects, but a certain thing, government will always say eat good food, and are they not telling don't pollute your water bodies and things like that. In fact, government itself is the biggest polluter of water bodies. They don't treat used water, and untreated water is discharged into rivers, streams, and oceans. So that's what I was saying. Once you make yourself a priority, your personal policies are important in this contest rather than government policy. That's what I started. In fact, I still continue to lobby with government on some of the issues. Recently, I drafted water policy for Orissa state government. Importance of policy, I know, but in this context, I don't want to give an escape route for people like you. If you say that government policy should come, then you don't do anything. You wait for government policy, which will never come. I want you to look at yourself as a professional, as an individual, and then what can you do? Let government come later. They have their own role. But I think this is about yourself, myself.
Okay. So in the context, the next question is from our first year student. With respect to the lifestyle that you live and the kind of house that you have designed for yourself. So the question asks, in the grey water management system, you mentioned that we can use this water for gardening, but the grey water contains chemical in it. As not everyone everybody cannot make their own soaps and detergent. So even if there is fruits which the plant is going to bear, what about the nutrition of the yield?
Yeah, I think it's an important point. That is true. At least some people may want to put up a grey water treatment, but they may not still use natural cleaners, so they may be still having chemical contamination. That is true. But if you separate black water and grey water, most of the grey water can be treated in the sedimentation tanks, and then there are other ways of, one can use alum, and some chemical treatment is also possible to reduce chemical load on the plants. But some of the plants, water loving plants which I showed, they can also absorb some chemical contamination and convert that into, the water can be used for certain plants, and it is not very very bad. If you are aware, actually in several cities, Mumbai may be slightly different because it is on the coastal area, but the wastewater generated from so many cities, when it goes, if you put a map, every city is living on some kind of stream, how small, big, whatever, the wastewater is discharged into these streams, and then this water is actually used for cultivating vegetables, and these vegetables come to markets in the same town. So and of course all the cities are producing wastewater which is chemically very very contaminated too. So it may not be that dangerous at a household level to use that water for irrigating plants, even if it is chemically contaminated. It's the next best solution. See, if you look at the gradation, first thing is you use natural cleaners, you use grey water treatment, then the discharged water is safe. The next best thing is you use at least grey water system. You are unable to use natural cleaners, you are still using chemical cleaners. That water can be used, but plants will suffer to some extent, but that's not that danger.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Uh, so another question is, you spoke about the personal policies, sir, but there's a student who's asking a question on, are there any policies that focus on water positive behavior?
See, in rural areas and urban context, there are certain personal, what do you call, personal behavior, hygiene related behavior policies are there. If we go to rural areas or tribal areas or even urban slums, the availability of fresh water is always a challenge. Similarly, sanitation related facilities are also not very systematically available. So people tend to use contaminated water because of these two things. As a result, their health is always negatively impacted. Given this, there are programs to improve personal hygiene. In during COVID also, we got a lot of messages. We are bombarded with so much of knowledge on how to keep your hands clean, how to wash them regularly, and things like that. So those kinds of efforts are there, particularly in rural and urban context. In the context of sanitation, where the benefits of infrastructure will be translated to good health only if you clean your hands well. So the personal hygiene related issues are partly introduced during some pandemic like COVID type of initiatives, situations. Government really promoted such behavior, but otherwise there are no special efforts.
So there is one more a comment first and then the question. The presentation by you has really opened up many avenues of thought. Can you please elaborate on how do we as a larger housing society plan water positive system of working?
How do we plan?
Yes, for societies, for cooperative housing societies.
Yeah, so I think these plans are very locally specific. You cannot have a broad blueprint, but we can discuss, we can mention some process steps. For example, the colony people can actually analyze their own water situation. Where is the water coming from? Where is the water going? How are they using? What is the current infrastructure? Are they separating grey water, black water? Are they recharging water? Are they harvesting rainwater? What is the space they have in the colony? What kind of retrofitting is possible if it is an existing colony. If it is a new colony, that is fairly easy to do. You can design the entire system from the very beginning. You can separate gray water, black water. You can harvest water. You can conserve water at local level as well as at the neighborhood level, and then actually you can estimate everything. I think that's what my son Bharani is doing. He's helping few colonies, few homes to become water positive after studying hydrology, after studying water resources, water endowment, all that kind of processes, technical issues are there. We can definitely do. It is case by case. You need to follow this kind of process. You analyze where the colony is, what is the water resource endowment naturally, rainfall and groundwater and surface water, what are the current uses of water, how are they actually, how much water are they using, how much water are they throwing into the mainstream system, where can the change be? There are several natural options. You can have your own septic tank system. You can have your own nature-based wastewater, including black water treatment system. You can have gray water system. All these technologies are available now. If serious, they can become chemical-free colony too by procuring these natural cleaners. They can manufacture themselves also. Bioengines can be very easily manufactured. So all these things can be integrated into planning, and it requires some kind of professional expertise, and we need some sensitive cooperatives or sensitive housing colonies to move towards that direction, and it requires some finances also. It's not free in the sense that you need to make some investments. I think these investments are worth making compared to all unnecessary frills in the buildings. This is a fundamentally necessary infrastructure.
So there's a Bangalore-based startup about urban farming. So they speak about the terrace gardening or farming in your terrace. But if we stay in a farmhouse or a bungalow and we have some space around us, it's the most feasible thing to do because there is availability of space. In terms of the kind of flat system that we stay in today, how do we ensure that the yield that we get from the terrace gardening is sustainable and it's kind of a self-sustaining system? For if say there's a family of 4 people or 6 people, how do we ensure the yield is sufficient for all of us?
See, for a farmhouse situation, maybe we don't have to talk about it because they can actually do it. There may not be great, constraint in space and things like that. That's okay. But when it comes to urban context in flats and all, I think we need to figure out. Perhaps we cannot be self-sufficient. That expectation may be a little theoretical. You cannot be self-sustaining yourself through your roof, but you can minimize your demands from external world, in the sense that you can produce maybe 40% of your vegetables or 30%. That is the realistic assessment. When we start these things, you cannot say that I start living in moon, I don't need anything from yet. It's not like that. You reduce your footprint on the world, and then you become self-sustaining to some extent. That's the most realistic thing. And these experiences are there actually. If it is individual apartment, I mean individual homes, there are several urban gardeners who are self-sustainable in terms of vegetables now. Those experiences are also there. But small houses and apartments where so many people are there, it may not be feasible to become self-sustainable. But if you look at Cuba's experience, Cuba has initiated urban gardening in a very major way, not now, almost 30 years back, when America put some restrictions on Cuba, and Russia could not supply fuel to Cuba. So Cuba was running out of fuel. They don't have any energy to sustain their agriculture, transportation, and all. So all cities started producing food. All vacant places in the cities, including roofs, including street side open vacant places. In cities we find a lot of vacant places unused. So production of food in urban context was initiated very successfully on a large scale in Cuba, and then they could reduce their transportation related challenges significantly, because food is just locally available even in a city, and then they didn't have to transport. So there were so many local markets in cities themselves which produced food and which sold to their own neighborhood in the city. There was no transportation from 100 kilometers away and things like that. So there are experiences in the world like that. Actually, urban gardening, urban agriculture is a growing phenomena to make cities green and also self-sustaining to some extent. They cannot completely reduce dependency on rural areas, but certain efforts can definitely be made. It's a productive use of land. I hope I explained.
Uh, yes, sir. The kind of city that we are staying in right now is already struggling for space. So in Mumbai. So the question was in relevance to that, which you partially answered. All of us can probably try from our end the maximum. So, sir, we also have the last question. from our 50th year student, who's asking, STPs for larger housing societies are high tech and heavy on chemical processes. Do we have a solution for that?
Yes. Yeah. I think it's very good question. There are several nature-based solutions for STPs also. Blue Drop Environmental Solutions is one of them, which is located in Hyderabad itself, and there are other grey water systems which I showed. They are relevant for black water systems also. Definitely, there are nature-based systems which basically use bacteria and consortium of bacteria and root zones for treating wastewater. There are so many startups also on this theme now. Delhi has so many, Bangalore has, Hyderabad has, several cities have this kind of enterprises now, companies who are offering these nature-based solutions for wastewater treatment. And these are these technologies or these systems have advantage because their operation and maintenance is very low compared to electricity and chemical based treatment systems, which are conventional systems. So the most conventional systems are stopped because their operational costs are very high. So after some time, they, as a government requirement, there is a STP in a colony, but it is rarely functional because of the high operational costs. But if they move towards nature-based systems, operational costs are very low. In fact, there are several colonies which are moving towards this nature-based systems already. Blue Drop is one company, you can Google it and find out.
Okay. I think the questions for the day are done, sir. I would request Alka ma'am also to say a few words.
Uh, Thank you. Thank you, Alicia. Thank you, Mr. Ram. It was a wonderful talk. And my mind is now racing towards making our institution also a water positive institution. What can we do? How can we do? We will think about it. And maybe I'll get in touch with you again for with our plan and then some solution. If you can think about it, it will uh, this is what is needed. We have to become the example. If we are teaching something, we need to think about all these things. There are around 400 students, 50 staff members. So we are 450 people using the premises for whole day. Can we start looking at, at least conserving that much water? And we have a large campus which we use for, a lot of plantation is there, a lot of irrigation happens. So watering the plant is a major drain on water that we have. So if we can start thinking about it, it will be wonderful. So let me think about it.
Yeah.
I'll get back to you for further solutions. And it was a wonderful thing, it makes you think about, your responsibility. And everybody needs to know that the freedom is never without responsibility. So uh, if one starts looking at the responsibility, that is time you start becoming free also. So it was a wonderful talk and eye opener for all of us. Um, I'll look forward to Barney's talk also once we do the second session. And thanks a lot for accepting our invitation and coming here. It was wonderful. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. Thanks. It was nice interacting with all of you, particularly all young professionals and their curious questions. I hope they start integrating water issues in their designs more creatively and come out with most relevant solutions in their own context and start sensitizing their clients. That is the most important point, because some people come and take our help and then talk, and finally they say that vastu is not good or something like that. So some of the concerns are a little disappointing. I mean, vastu may be still a relevant thing. I don't know, that may be offering a lot of peace of mind ultimately. Even if they construct a home, if they start worrying every day, there's no point in that. So whatever reason, peace of mind is important. but the water related concerns seem to take a little low priority, because vastu pandits are not advising, architects are not advising, engineers are not advising, and then there are no craftsmen or masons or people, plumbers, who can actually do it. So when people like us tell anything, if there is some interested potential home builder, and he's bombarded with a lot of negative feedback, why should we do it, it is bothering, you cannot maintain it, and plumbers are not available, all this burden is there. There should be one positive support to such potential home maker or home builder, from architects or plumbers. For example, when I started, my mason was my great strength, my plumber was my great strength. He said, let us experiment, sir, let us do how it happens. He was also actually laughing at me many times that I'm suggesting all these things, but he was willing to work with me. And then he brought his expertise in terms of levels, water flows, the gravity system. He did work excellently well. Otherwise, it would be a bad structure. So such support is very essential. I hope all the students, architecture students, become part of that support system as a professional towards water positive, society broadly. Thanks. Yeah.
Yes.
So thank you, sir, for answering all the questions with so much interest and enthusiasm. We have concluded our question and answer session, and a big thank you to all of you all who attended Samvad for the last 2 days. Awaiting your presence as we proceed for the last day of Samvad Shrinkula for tomorrow's presentation on Himalaya Ki Jal Pranaliya by Sachidanand Bharati. Thank you, all of you. Thank you, sir. Thank you once again.
Okay,
We
then, bye.
conclude.
Thanks.
Bye.